So the building that we are in right now, the Art Center, was originally the federal office building for Plattsburgh. And the Strand, in its original incarnation, moved in here in 2000 and started going forward from there. This building has undergone a massive renovation from what was government offices to turn it into a gallery and a maker space that has 3D printers and a laser cutter and a whole bunch of power and hand tools for creating, as well as a vibrant clay studio with wheels as well as hand layup studio space. We also were able to acquire the Strand Theater, which is what most people think of when they hear the word the Strand. And that is a vaudeville era, soon to turn 100, and 2024 will be our 100th anniversary celebration for the Strand. So the theater space has undergone a multi-million-dollar renovation to bring it back to vaudeville day glory. So we have meticulously recreated the trim work that is surrounding the various spaces to bring it back to the exact footprint that it used to be. Our most recent renovation, which was part of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative through New York State, allowed us to make the space just so much better.
The founders of the Strand were two lawyers from Saratoga Springs named William Benton and James Leary. And at the time that they built the Strand, they already owned 5 or 6 other movie theaters in the Saratoga area. And they probably thought that Plattsburgh was a good place to expand. Plattsburgh was the largest city in Clinton County. It could draw audiences from a wide area, not just from the city itself. At the time, Plattsburgh did have a couple of other theaters, so none of those were really originally designed as movie theaters. They weren't optimized for movie viewing, and they certainly weren't as luxurious as the Strand. And so creating a movie theater that was kind of designed for movie viewing and that would provide this kind of exciting and fun experience was really what it was all about. During the period that we're talking about, movies are silent. They are also accessible to people who maybe don't understand English very well. So immigrant communities, for example, were big moviegoers during this period. So it really was something that was accessible to a broad audience. And it was clear that this was going to be not just a passing fad, but this was really kind of here to stay as an entertainment form.
We're seeing an uptick in collaborations and the desire that the community has to integrate the Strand. We've had several inquiries from the campus for different events, different productions. We've had collaborations with various professors for presentations. And we're seeing people that are grateful for the fact that they don't have to travel for some of the things that they had wanted. So we've shortened that commute, and we've brought and opened the door, brought availability for various things that people are looking for. Part of the Strand's mission is to have a gallery, and we're actually a museum. So we have a collection of art that is part of our permanent collection, but then we use the gallery space to extend the art into the community. A benefit to having a local gallery that is showing local artists is that it creates some inspiration for people that are producing art in their own spaces or in their own world. We also have classes for adults, and so we have watercolor classes. We have people that are producing that may not be displaying in a gallery. And I think that the combination of people that want to create and are able to see what can be created is a nice symbiotic relationship.
Ready to Create is an employment training program that focuses on both professional skills and technical skills aimed at a career in manufacturing. We try to focus on teaching things that would generally be barriers to employment and how to overcome those barriers. We get to use the makerspace here at the Strand, and students are working on things like woodworking projects, intro to electrical projects, and it's aimed at a career in manufacturing. But the skills are really transferable, so people may end up with jobs in manufacturing, they may end up with jobs doing something else.
I could see a younger demographic coming here and getting started. One of their participants is, I believe, 16 and gone through a few things in life, but he's on a better path now. You guys can do with this what you want, but I had a life and it fell apart and I got in trouble. And I reset it, and this was exactly what I needed for the reset so that I could go into the path that I'm going, and I don't have as many things to hurdle when I've got these people picking me up and helping me over these steps and stuff. So I'm really super grateful for everything that this has brought to us.
There really has been an interest in the past, 20 years or so in reviving these downtown theaters, that people kind of come to realize how much was lost when those downtowns emptied out. And really the theater becomes a really important part of trying to kind of revive the downtown as a whole. It really is kind of the heart of the community. The theater is a place that is open to everybody. It's a space that doesn't belong to any particular group. It's not a clubhouse, it's not exclusive. If you have a resource like that in your community, why would you not want to protect it and preserve it?
Almost every dollar of the grants that we receive is spent back in the community. We have a placemaking grant that is all about marketing to bring attention to not only Strand but to the downtown Plattsburgh region. That to me is hugely important. It's great to get infrastructure grants because obviously we need a roof that doesn't leak, but it's more important to be able to bring funding in that can be redirected into the community. Part of the outcropping of how we could be part of this community during COVID was an artisan event, an artisan's market, where we brought in local artists, and the very first artisan market that we held was outdoors, which provided us with a safe environment. It was still mask required and all the things that were appropriate at that moment for dealing with COVID. But we had all kinds of artisans that were harmed by COVID by having all of their opportunities fall off the map for their marketplace. Were able to gather here, and those people were able to sell their wares, and the community response for the very first one was such that it is now, we're doing 10 of them a year, but we've moved during the colder season. We have moved them indoors as COVID has progressed, or we've progressed with COVID, so that we can have the similar idea with a selling space and allowing community members to be able to sell their crafts. One of the phrases that appears in a lot of the grant writing that we do is talking about the Strand being the cultural hub of the region. Our goal is to continue to expand that and to integrate within all aspects of culture, whether it is creating crafts, whether it's performance art, whether it is visual arts, or something as simple as music lessons. We want to be able to facilitate that within the community.